How's it going, everybody? Gringo here, and since I don't want to ramble on too long, I'm going to get right into it. We are going to be doing level 4 of Automaton Tower with the crossover characters. If they aren't able to kind of step up to the plate and get all the way through it, I will be switching in a couple of characters, so we'll see what happens. Right now, I have them all with their artifacts, and I just want to go over a couple of the devices that I will be looking for. I may be speaking kind of quickly again because I kind of want to get through this. I don't want to waste too much time. But the first device that I will be looking for is the level 1 explosive device activation device here. Now I will be wanting to get this twice because I want to make it an AoE device, and we will talk about what that does in a second, because that ties in with this second device here, which is the Explosive Device Enhancement Device. So what you can do to pair it with the first one, once you get the first one to level 2 and it's an AoE, you can level this up. So each time you hit an enemy with a single attack after it has the enhancement device on it, it will level up to level 2, 3, 4. Once it hits 4, it goes boom, it hits everything. It does a nice chunk of damage. Now, the third one we are going for right here, and one of the more main ones I'm going for, is the level 1 front row counterattack device. This is another one I will be wanting to get to level 2. I normally throw Ravi in the front here, so getting those counterattacks is also going to get extra chances to get those in explosive enhancement devices either leveled up or put on enemies, get some extra damage in there, and get a little bit of healing back for Ravi. The next ones I want to go over real quick are just the Soul Weaver ones. Usually I like any of the Soul Weaver ones. In past runs I've done, I've normally run 2 Soul Weavers. I'll run Montmorency and DNA because they can get a lot of combat readiness increase off this. And if they are getting that combat readiness increase, that means extra turns. Extra turns means extra heals. Extra heals means I can get extra turns using their basic attack to attack. And that means, guess what? More explosive enhancement devices that I can put on characters or level up to do more damage. So those are very nice. This second one here is just whenever Soul Weaver uses a non-attack skill, increases combat readiness of all allies by 20%. And guess what? Montmorency's second and third skill, DNA's second and third skill, Emilia's second and third skill are not attack skills, so this will kick in with all of those. Give even more turns to your whole team, and guess what? Yes, even more explosive enhancement devices. Now, a couple of the background ones I'm going to be looking for. One right here is going to be with the 3-turn barrier from the start of battle. This is very nice when you get into the later levels, especially if you're using a tankier or slower to kind of beat the battles kind of team. Like if you're using a lot of Soul Weavers like I like to do, it might be kind of slow in the beginning for some of the characters. I know my Montmorency isn't super quick, but what this will do basically is if the enemies are faster, then your characters can take a couple of extra hits in the beginning, and you don't have to worry as much about taking too much damage in the beginning of the battle. Now, the other one we are going to be taking a look at here is the level 1 damage stacking device. Again, this is kind of a background one. If I don't have anything better, then I will try to level this up to level 3. If I can get that to the 40%, increases damage dealt by 40% at the start of turn, and it can stack up to 5 times. So if you can get that multiple times, that is a definite advantage, I guess, because you're going to be getting a lot of attack there. And that also, again, meshes well with some of the warrior ones where you're getting a lot of those extra counterattacks or extra attacks at the beginning of battle. So those will work well. And with that, let's switch right over to the battles and get right into it. Okay, so jumping straight into these fights, you can see we only had 1 devotion skill on Ravi here. We are going to be using Ravi, Emilia, Rem, and Ram to start off with. And if we run into any problems or whatnot, then we are going to maybe switch up some characters. I did try this once already just as kind of like a tester to see what the characters can do. So I kind of got a feel for what they're capable of. I got to about floor 12 before I started running into some problems, so I tweaked the characters a little bit. I'm going to show the characters kind of stats at the end of the video so that I can kind of go over where I feel that they excelled or they kind of came up short in this whole run through. And other than that, I'm just kind of gonna let it play through. I'll mark where all of the floors are, so if you're having trouble with one floor, maybe you can kind of see what worked for me, or if I had to switch characters when and where. So enjoy the video, and I will be back towards the end to discuss the character some more. Okay, and we are back here. Luckily, we were able to get off that Soulburn heal with Montmorency, and she saved us there, or else that could have been a lot of trouble. But we got through that, and I'm actually kind of surprised that the team was able to get through that first try without too much trouble. I wasn't surprised that Ram got knocked off there. I mean, going against two type disadvantaged characters, being level 50, not having a lot of health, all that. But let's switch over to our team here and let's take a look at what we had. Now the first one we are going to look at, we're going to do the easy ones first, and we're going to look at Ravi here. Now Ravi is pretty decently built here. She's not maxed out, but as you can see, plus 15 Sigurd's Scythe up here, so if you needed that. And you could take a look at her stats on the side. We're not going to go over her or Montmorency too much. We will take a look. She was the only character starting out that did have the memory imprint. She's only got one. So all skills are maxed out. Most of the gear is from the arena chest. So if you needed to kind of do something or kind of get a similar build, then you can go for those. Now Montmorency here was only level 50. She is triple S, of course, for her imprint because she is a 3-star, so she's easier to get. Her skills, again, are maxed out. She has an almost maxed out Magaraha's Tome, which can be a bonus there. And then if we take a look at her stats, the main thing she has is going to be effect resistance. She has a little bit of speed. She has decent health. Other than that, she has pretty good defense, actually. But other than that, nothing super exciting or anything super extraordinary here. Level 50 character, a lot of room to work with. So if you're having trouble with where I was or anything like that, then you can build her a little better than I did. So, moving right along, we are going to take a look at our first crossover character, and it is going to be Ram. Now, Ram, as you could see if you watched some of the gameplay, she did quite a bit of damage when she was able to, but her survivability was very, very low when she was taking hits. I will accredit some of that to the fact that she is an earth character, and a lot of the Automaton Tower enemies are fire characters, especially in most of the playable character fights at like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. A lot of those characters are fire characters, so she was taking some hits there and some of the in-between ones, so I wasn't expecting her survivability to be super fantastic, but a little more would have been nice. Obviously, room for improvement here. She is only level 50. She does have a bunch of gear sets that were more login bonuses, all the 75s there with the attack set. I did just throw that on her. From past login bonuses, you could have gotten those, and probably from future ones. So if you wanted to do something similar, I just kind of wanted to throw some attack on her and see what she could do. And she did pretty well for me. I was very happy with her when she was actually able to attack. She could use some more speed because in those fights, if you were watching again, she was pretty slow. She wasn't able to get many attacks off. Emilia's combat readiness boost was a big advantage to helping Ram get some more turns in there a few times. And taking a look at her artifact, the first thing I did know about the crossover artifacts is there is a flat stat bonus on all 3 of them right in the beginning. Ram's being attack, Rem's being crit rate, and Emilia's being effect resistance. They get that 15% rate there. And then after that, those are more of their situational effects. So her situational effect on Rams here is when she's attacked by an elite or boss monster, she will take decreased damage. And that's kind of more of, as I said, situational things here. So she would probably shine more with this artifact if she was in a place like Labyrinth or something to that effect. Probably not as effective in Automaton Tower, especially if you're running other characters with something where you're getting that reduced damage already, then this just kind of clashes with that and doesn't really take any effect whatsoever. But the flat 15% attack boost is still very good and does help her out some here. Other than that, I did like her skills. Her third skill here, I did like the decreased defense and increase her attack. And then if you brought that over to this first skill, if you are able to soul burn it, then you do an AoE attack, so then you're able to hit everything with it. If you have a couple of enemies that are low on health, she can wipe them out very easily. So it does work to have her on the team, but I would say you definitely need either somebody to keep her alive that is very good at keeping her alive, or somebody with provoke that keeps the attacks away from her, or have her with a lot of speed paired with the attack that she already has, but she is single target unless you get that soul burn, so that could also work against her. Alright, up next here is Emilia, and Emilia was kind of lackluster for me. I read her skills at first and I was like, wow, these could be really cool. I did like her skill, her third skill here, because she does have the dispels debuffs, she heals, and she grants a barrier. First thing seeing that popped into my head was like, wow, that's really cool. I like that, and that's going to be nice. But if you don't have her health up, then she is not going to heal for a lot, so she needs a lot of max health. And also, if you don't have her speed up, then she's not going to be healing as often. Even though she has this combat readiness boost to an ally, gets rid of 2 debuffs, and increases attack for 2 turns, it's still kind of lackluster to me because I feel like she does need more heals. Now, you could say that she does get the 1 turn cooldown that I do not have on there that you saw. She does have the heal on the first skill, but that's also according to her health. And then you could say that she could switch away from her artifact to another artifact, and yes, that's true. But I wanted to use her artifact on her for the fights to see how she does with hers. Now, if you wanted to do something different, maybe like a Rod of Amaryllis or something like that, then you can get more heals off of her. Maybe if you build her towards high speed, high health, then she will probably do a lot better, get more heals more often, and heal for a lot more than she was doing for me. Other than that, Emilia for me was kind of left me wanting more, so she's my least favorite of the 3 new characters. I did like the heal barrier and knock off some debuffs again, but overall she was just kind of left me wanting a little more, maybe more heals on her second skill, something like that. But for right now, characters like Montmorency and Deanne just still outshine her too much for me to really want to use her on a regular team. Now, the last one we're going to take a look at real quick here is Rem. And I feel, well, this is more bias, of course, because Rem is my favorite character out of the 3 from watching the anime. I do like her set a lot more than what Emilia and Ram are given. Now, Ram has really good attacks, so her setup is kind of just okay. So I feel that's okay for Ram. But Rem, I really like the skills. I like the third skill with the attack buff. It's okay. The decreased hit chance, I feel, wasn't really too much of a factor in Automaton Tower. It might do a lot better in PvP. The second skill here is the one that shines the most, of course. The new addition of the Demon Mode is really cool. And getting those counterattacks in, even though she doesn't counterattack when she's attacked, which kind of sucks. The getting that counterattack and having that iron strike down at the bottom there take priority over a basic skill so that she hits the whole enemy team instead of just counterattacking one person is really nice. And the fact that she can make them unhealable on top of that just keeps adding there. Even her first skill isn't too bad. The fact that when she's in demon mode, she can get an extra attack with this skill, so she attacks twice. She has a 50% chance of getting decreased defense, so if you double that, you have 2 chances to get the 50%, and if you soul burn, you can soul burn her into a 100% chance to decrease defense on the enemy, so that's really nice as well. Other than that, her artifact is just increased crit hit chance if you need it. So if you don't need that, then the situational effect below it is kind of not really super fantastic to me. That would probably be something more used in maybe PvP or something with a lot of mobs. But to me, you would also need a few copies to put into it to make it anything spectacular, because just getting the 16.8% once per turn, if it was more like 30%, then that might be a bigger difference and more reason to use it. But for now, I might even suggest building her more towards a counter set, since she does not counter for herself. You put a counter set on her, you put a Sigurd Scythe on her, like another counter tank, like maybe Charles or somebody, or Ravi, then you can throw her in the front line and she's got a chance to counterattack when anybody on your team's getting attacked, instead of just everybody instead of her. So that is going to do it for this video. Sorry if it rambled on too much. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all next time.